will be recorded. If you are not able to stay for the whole webinar, don't worry. We're going to go ahead and record it and send it out to everyone that has attended, as well as anyone that you know that registered that was not able to attend, or maybe even might attend at a later time. They'll be able to get the full recorded webinar probably within a day or two. We'll go ahead and email it out to you guys. And it'll also be on our YouTube, our iMatrix YouTube channel. You go to iMatrix.com. You can see in the top right our YouTube icon. Any of our social icons, it should be there. And you can go ahead and watch it at a later time if you'd like. Feel free throughout the webinar to go ahead and ask some questions if you'd like. I'll go ahead and answer them towards the end. I'll save them up. So just go ahead and as you kind of get some questions on the top of your head throughout the webinar, feel free to go ahead and just type them out, and then I'll make sure to go over them one by one towards the end of the webinar. If you have any other kind of questions, or if you have any issues where you're not able to hear properly, maybe it's staticky, feel free to go ahead and try logging out and logging back in. Give us a call, 1-800-iMatrix. One of our support staffs will be able to help you out and get you logged in properly. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Today's webinar is on what you need to know about PPC. My name is Mike Garcia. Let me get the slide. Here we go. I'm the Associate Marketing Manager here at iMatrix. And today we're going to be going over some different things with PPC, different things that you need to know about PPC. Some of this might be refresher for some of you. Other things might be brand new, and maybe you've never done PPC before. But it is something that does take a little bit of time to kind of get used to and understand, and it's nothing that you can pick up really in just a day. It is something that once you do properly use it, you can save yourself a lot of time and a lot of money. So as we get started, I'm going to kind of go through some of these different tips, different steps, and then you'll be able to kind of see what to do and how to do it. So PPC basically stands for pay per click, because that's essentially what happens. You pay for each time someone clicks on your ad. The type of PPC ads we'll be discussing are search ads today. So there's different types of ads. There's search ads, which are the basic ads that you see when you're on Google and you type in, let's say, some keywords. You'll see maybe kind of in a beige color on the top, or even on the far right in a column, different ads that are there. Those are actually paid ads, and those are the search ads. Display ads, which you might also hear at some other time, are ads that are primarily like image ads. If you see like an image banner, if you go to a website and you see different banners at the top or on the right, different images and different ads that you kind of see rotating, those are display ads. So those are different. We can probably talk about those in a different webinar at a different time. But the most commonly used are the search ads, and that's probably going to be ones that you are either using currently or are going to probably get started with. So these are the ads that, again, like I said, appear on the major search engines and different search engines results pages via Google, Bing, or Yahoo. And online paid ads have a lot of moving parts and can get expensive without any results if you don't execute them properly. So again, today we're going to go ahead and cover the essential information you need to really launch a successful PPC campaign for your business. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to basically go over how it works. We're going to set the right goals, determine your budget. We're also going to choose the proper keywords and see what you can do to make sure that you're not wasting money and you're using it effectively on the right keywords that you want to be searched for. You're going to create your ad, and we're going to kind of go over that a little bit, as well as evaluate those ad metrics. You want to make sure that at the end, when you are creating all these ads and you're putting everything together, that, again, you're effectively spending your money. You're not wasting it away on ads that just aren't working. So you want to make sure you evaluate all of those different metrics and see what you're spending your money on wisely. So here's basically how it works. This is really the very simplified process of pay-per-click. As the name implies, the advertiser basically pays for every single click on the ad. Ideally, the ad takes the user to a customized landing page with a little bit more information that's related to the ad and a means for the conversion. So telephone number, form, email, that kind of thing. And so how it works is the user really performs a search with specific keywords. If the content of your ad is a close match to those keywords, your ad will display on the search engine results page. So the search engine results page, in case you aren't sure what that is, of course, is when you type something in Google or Yahoo, it's the whole list of different websites that you see that you're able to click on. The user will see your ad, and if the ad matches their search needs, they'll go ahead and click on the ad and will visit your customized landing page or website page of your choice. The PPC provider will track how many click-throughs your ad gets and will charge your ad budget accordingly. So whether it's on Google, if it's Bing or Yahoo, basically depending on however many clicks that person has on their ad, they'll charge you accordingly, depending on how expensive the ad gets. The ad expense and how expensive it is and the price of the ad is really determined on the keyword that you're looking to be pulled up by, as well as the competition in the area. And it's kind of like an auction. It's kind of like eBay, if you want to kind of think of it that way. The more people that are trying to have an ad pull up by that term, probably the more expensive it's going to be. And the more relevant your landing page is with content and just relevancy in general, as far as, if you're pulling up for a specific term and they go to your landing page and they can see your ad and it's exactly what they're looking for, it'll be a lot cheaper. If it's maybe an ad that has nothing to do with that term for some reason, or that they get to a landing page and it has nothing to do with what they were actually trying to search for, it's probably going to be a little bit more expensive. So again, relevancy is key, and making sure that everything is in accordance to whatever term you're trying to pull up is going to help you to have a cheaper ad and to have a lower cost per click. So make sure you set the right goals. And so before you launch your PPC campaign, you really need to think about what your overall goals are for the campaign. Are you really looking to increase traffic to your website? Are you a new company looking to increase brand awareness maybe? Do you need to attract new clients and increase new appointment requests? So are you really trying to get more people to maybe subscribe to your blog or even follow you on social media? You can use these different avenues with all aspects of PPC. Maybe you just want to increase revenue from products you sell in your online store. If you use an online store and you sell products that way, you can do it as well. Really decide what the overarching goal is for your PPC campaign and probably write it down. I would plan it out, just kind of see what your goal is in the end, and just really kind of figure out what you want to do through the PPC campaign, and have a plan. That's always the best bet, is to have a plan. This will help you to really tailor your campaign to the needs of and track your results of the PPC campaign. So if you kind of go in without a plan and you're not really sure where you're going with it, more than likely you're probably going to spend a little bit more money because you're just kind of going in blindly. So just the same way you do pretty much anything else in your business, plan it out, maybe kind of make a roadmap of whatever you have to do, put it on old-fashioned paper with pen and pad, write out what you think you want to do, the different kind of keywords you might want to pull up, maybe kind of create a web map of how you want to, have this keyword be targeted for that part of your business. Maybe you sell some products, so you want to have that keyword be targeted towards the online, store portion of your website. Different things like that. You want to kind of map it out before you start to get involved with PPC. Don't try to just plan it out and experiment through PPC, because you're just going to experiment with your money and you're just going to waste the money away. So really plan it out and make sure that what you're doing is something that you really want to go with going forward. And remember, this isn't permanent. This is something that you can always change daily. You can change by the hour, by the minute. It's just a matter of when you get started, make sure you at least start with some kind of plan. So again, as far as budget goes, make sure you determine what the budget is. You want to really start small and monitor all of your spend pretty closely. You want to make sure that you are tracking it on the daily. I wouldn't just set it and forget it. It's not a Craigslist ad. It's not anything like that where you just kind of set it and you check it once a month. This is something that where in the beginning process where you're really starting to learn, you want to really kind of track it and see what's working, what's not. It might take a week or so for things to really kind of gain traction, but within that first month, make sure that you're really making sure everything's working properly and it's kind of going in the direction that you want it to. One of the major mistakes that business owners make is starting out with a large amount and then allocating it all to PPC. Start small. Make sure that it's not too big. You don't want to just kind of throw everything out there and hope that it hits something. Now, while your marketing budget may have a huge chunk to really kind of set aside for PPC, again, it's really wise to just spread out the spend over a certain amount of time. So invest it. Think of it kind of like an investment. Don't go and just blow it all at once. We do kind of recommend that business owners try running their own PPC campaigns to really kind of start small, like I mentioned, maybe little bit by little bit, maybe see what the competition is like. Again, you're not going to really know right out the gate how expensive a certain term is. Maybe you might want to pull up for a veterinarian in your area, or optometrist in your area, or chiropractor in your area. Those are all different ad spends. And also not even that, it's dependent on the city that you live in, the area, the state. Just to kind of give you an example, I'm just going to pull this one because it always just resonates in my brain, is as, let's say, a chiropractor in New York. Okay, let's just use that as an example. chiropractors deal with motor vehicle accidents, car accident injuries, those kind of things. They might want to pull up for those specific terms because that's, the kind of client that they want to look for. Well, it just also so happens that, not only New York, I've seen it in New Jersey, and a lot of times the East Coast in general, is they aren't the only ones that are looking for that term. Other types of businesses, other industries are as well. Lawyers, attorneys, physical therapists, anything like that that's completely separate from what maybe they're trying to do, and just chiropractors in general, especially the lawyers and the attorneys, they are also trying to compete for that same keyword term. Now, just to kind of give you an idea, not to scare you, but just to kind of give you an idea, and it could have changed a little bit, but within the last year, the last time I checked for car accident injury or motor vehicle accident, seeing how it's such a highly competitive term in New York at the time, it was anywhere from $50 to $60 a click. Now that's scary because, that's just a click. That's not considering the fact that they have to click it, fill out the form, maybe call you. There's a couple different steps after they click it. The click alone isn't just, business. They could click it and nothing happens. So depending on the area you're in, that's something that you want to make sure that you start off small, because if you don't know how expensive a term is, and again, once you actually enter all these different keywords in, it won't tell you right out the gate. It will have to probably wait a few days for it to kind of figure out, the competition, figure out how much it's going to cost. Maybe it might be a day, maybe it could be a week, who knows. But once you figure that part out, then you can adjust your budget accordingly. So again, don't go and all of a sudden throw all your money out there and figure out that one of those key terms that you're trying to search for takes all of your budget and you just wasted your money for no reason. Maybe that one term, you just have to find a different way of reaching out to that type of market. So again, budget it accordingly and make it a little bit smaller at first and then kind of go from there. So just to kind of, give you a little bit of idea, like I mentioned, start small, closely monitor the ad spend, and then adjust it based on that reporting itself. Increase or decrease the budget according to the metrics, the time of year, the days, etc. And always track your spending to make sure you aren't throwing your money away on those keywords that aren't driving your results. So maybe it might be something that you're really looking into, but again, it just isn't beneficial financially. So like I mentioned, proper keywords are a huge part of this business. You want to make sure that, depending on what you want to be pulled up for, that your ad is relevant, that it's profitable, and that the competition isn't crazy to the point where the ad is way too expensive. So while they are only one real component of a successful PPC campaign, keywords will impact performance and determine your ad copy and design. Start with an exhaustive list of keywords. I would probably really narrow it down to 5 to 10 related keywords for each PPC ad campaign you run. The keywords must all relate to each other, since this will better target your ad to the right user. So it really kind of sounds like common sense, but the keywords must be relevant to your business. A lot of times people will put ads out that aren't relevant at all to what they're doing, just because they're trying to either monopolize the market or they're just really trying to outdo the competition. You want to make sure that you play it smart, again, because it will cost you money. If you don't offer a particular service, don't create a PPC ad for it. It's plain and simple. Don't try to outdo competition that maybe offers certain services that you don't, just to kind of out them of the 1, 2, or 3 spot in the PPC list. It's just going to be a waste of your time. It's almost kind of like guerrilla marketing. You don't really want to try to do that, because then again, you're just wasting money for no reason. Even though you might think you're saving money by not giving them business, you're not giving yourself business. You're just wasting money, because it's going to cost you a lot more. This is kind of what they consider a black hat tactic, and again, your ad score will be penalized. Now, the ad score is, again, how relevant your landing page is and how relevant your ad is to the actual term that you're trying to be pulled up for. So the higher the ad score, the cheaper the cost. The lower the ad score, the more expensive it will be, and the lower the ranking of the actual ad will appear. You might not even appear on the first page. No matter how much money you're blowing on it, it might not even really appear where you want it to appear, and you might not get the results you want to get because your ad score is so low. And sometimes if it's low enough, Google won't even show it at all, which won't cost you money, but again, because it's not being shown, but then again, it's not making you money, so it's really kind of useless. So really keep that in mind when you're doing something. Try not to do what they consider black hat tactics. That is something that Google does look at, and they definitely will penalize you for it. Choose words that are profitable for your business. The best way to really increase your ROI is by setting up those ads for more profitable services. However, don't completely ignore your popular services altogether and come up with a strategy to really kind of target both. Find out what your competitions may be using for keywords. Maybe if you do the same services that they offer, just kind of see what they're using. If you see their ad popping up in PPC ads once in a while, there's no harm. It's not like you're copying anything, but again, if it's working for them, maybe it might be able to work for you, and then just do a different ad, different ad copy, different type of landing page, because technically you offer the same services they do. It is, again, like I mentioned, great for getting ideas, and really in many cases you'll likely be using a lot of the same words that they're going to use anyway. So a lot of times, I mean, there might be maybe a handful, 5 to 10 keywords that you just can't get away from the fact that they're all going to use the same ones. Every single chiropractor out there is probably going to use the same ones, or every single veterinarian are probably going to all use the same ones. No matter what business you're in, there's that good 5 or 10 chunk of keywords that everyone's probably going to be using. So if you do offer something that's a little bit unique, maybe it makes you stand out from the competition, you have an awesome opportunity to really differentiate yourself from using PPC. That's a great way to really get yourself ahead of the competition by mentioning that. If you offer a service, or if you do something that no one else really in your area does, or maybe only a few people in your area do, that still puts you ahead of the competition overall. So once you have your goals defined, you set your budget, selected your keywords, it's time to really get forward in creating your ad. So craft a catchy, maybe compelling headline that will attract users to look at the ad and to eventually click through it. Your text is limited, so make sure the message is concise and clear, and the offer should be appealing in order to get the most amount of clicks. So as you can see, here's an example of an ad, of a couple ads actually for optometrists, for San Diego optometrists, and you can see how many results pull up overall, which includes the regular organic results, which usually appear below it, and then this, which maybe you might not be able to see. It doesn't look like it's a beige color, but normally it's kind of like a light beige color, and it'll typically just say ad next to it. You'll see that the URL of where it's going to go to, and then you see the secondary details of the ad copy, and then the main details up here. And the description, basically, you can have some of the keywords in there as well, which normally is advised. You can have the phone number attached. You can have map extensions. You can have other kind of site link extensions as well. And these are all things that once they click on it, it's considered a click. Same thing with, if they want to give you a call, find a location, they click on the ad itself, maybe click on the phone number. If they're calling or they're searching from a mobile phone, they can click on it and it'll click to dial. That'll be considered a click as well. So keep in mind that, depending on how your ad looks, just look at some of the competition, maybe see how they're doing it. If they're up on top, just maybe even see what their ad copy looks like. Maybe you can kind of mirror something in a sense and not copy it, but just make it something of your own and just see what kind of works for you. Once you have your ad designed, test different variations and only make small changes to the text to really see what appeals to consumers more. Instead of a certain dollar amount off, maybe try a percentage off or change the service that you're discounting to a similar service, something of the sort that you can kind of just make your own and change up a little bit. So one of the most important aspects of this is evaluating the return on your investment, making sure you're evaluating all of the ad metrics. Review all the analytics, measure all of the goals that you have set up, as well as track all the different conversions that you have from month to month to make sure that you are either increasing in conversions, or if you're declining, maybe it's a time of the year that different trends happen. Maybe not a lot of people are searching for ads at that time, depending on the type of business you're in. If you do, let's say, medical weight loss, and it's around Thanksgiving and Christmas, and there's a dip, probably because people are eating a lot of great food during those holidays. Whereas, for that type of industry, for January, February, that's when people start getting their resolutions in and they want to start losing weight. And so maybe it starts to increase at that time. There's a lot of different, fluctuations and trends. And I'm sure a lot of you as professional business owners understand the different trends of the year. So keep that in mind when you're looking at these metrics and you're tracking these conversions, that it's also going to affect the PPC as well when people do and they don't search for these terms. So check your metrics probably either weekly, maybe bi-monthly, to really kind of ensure that the campaign's running smoothly and that you're steadily achieving the goal that you set. I would recommend in the beginning maybe track it, every week, and then after that go every 2 weeks, and then after that you can kind of, slow it down once you have an idea of what's going on and do it every month. Google, Bing, and Yahoo each have their own paid advertising dashboards that you can really track the ad performance pretty simple. So do simple things like comparing clicks to track conversions. Are a bunch of people click on your ad but not converting? If so, it might be time to review your conversion strategy and maybe tweak it out a little bit with the ad copy, maybe the keywords, those kind of things to kind of help target the audience a little bit better. Again, if something's not working, you don't have to make a huge change. Just do little teeny tweaks here and there, whether it's the ad itself, the ad copy, the service that you're offering, those kind of things, and you'll definitely see something increase in that sense. So one of the biggest things that I do notice a lot is when someone sees something that's working, they just kind of let it sit there and they don't really do anything with it. If you do see an ad that's working, I do recommend probably increasing the budget on it a little bit, seeing if it'll increase in that sense. And again, if it's really working, don't go and blow your budget on just that one keyword term or that one ad, I should say. Increase it slowly. No matter what you do, it's in increments. It's slowly but surely, and you'll see results going forward for that. Make sure that, again, what you're doing is tracking everything from the beginning to the end. And if you do add any kind of new services or new ads, make sure that you do the same thing that you did from the beginning, to where you're doing it in slow, small increments and not blowing your budget on it. So with the conclusion, just want to let everyone know, managing a successful PPC campaign isn't really difficult. It is a little time consuming, but it does take some considerable investment. Again, like I said, with time, the training, and basically review, just to kind of make sure everything's going correctly. Many businesses really throw away a lot of money on PPC campaigns because they really don't have the time to effectively manage their campaigns and aren't really aware of all the best practices and real ways to get best results. So by really following the essentials that were laid out in this webinar today, you can kind of build and run maybe an efficient as well as effective PPC campaign. And if you really still don't have the time to do it, maybe see if someone in your office has the time to maybe kind of help to track these things out. If you aren't currently with iMatrix and have this service with us, let us know. We'll see what we can do to help you out. Again, give us a call, 1-800-IMATRIX. Go on imatrix.com, anything like that. You can feel free to ask questions to our support staff. We'll do whatever we can to help you along the way. And again, it's not hard. It's just time-consuming. And once you do get it started in the beginning, and you get all of that heavy lifting out of the way, it really just gets into maintenance mode, to where you just have to check it. Like I mentioned, if you finish checking it every week and then every couple weeks, then it gets down to just maybe checking it once a month and just keeping track of things. And like I said, it's kind of like an eBay auction, where if anyone's ever bought anything on eBay, you don't really just bid for an item and then hope that you win it. You might get outbid. You might see people bidding multiple times and you're way below the bids. It's something where you kind of have to keep an eye on it, until the item is won, to where you can just kind of finally leave it alone. Well, it's the same thing with AdWords. You can't set it and forget it. You have to check the metrics. You have to change the budget on certain things. Each individual keyword is going to have its own separate little budget, and then you can have each ad have its own budget overall. That way you make sure that you don't go over, let's say you don't want to spend more than $50 in a day. Let's say you don't want to spend a certain amount over each month. You can set it so that, even if your ad's doing well, but you just don't have the money to make it run all the time and as much as you would probably want it to, you can set it so that it stops every day at a certain ad spend. Like I said, if you only want to spend $50 a day, if you only want to spend $20 a day, no matter how successful your ad is, you can have it so that it just stops showing at that point, so you don't go over your budget. It's very easy to customize, and it's very easy to blow a lot of money on. So remember, if anyone has any questions, let us know. Feel free to go ahead and type some questions in. We do have some questions here that I'm going to kind of go over. And again, I'll leave our number here. If anyone has any questions, definitely let us know. Mention that you spoke about this webinar. We'll go ahead and give you a good offer on any of the services that we have to help you out. And if you're just asking questions without being interested in anything, feel free to just ask away. We're here to help. We're here to answer any kind of questions you have. We have Google certified account reps here. Everyone in our company here, as a Google certified partner, is very knowledgeable with PPC and understanding how to get your business started and how to get your business visible and ahead of the competition. So let's go ahead and go over some questions that we have. Again, one of the first questions was answered in the very beginning was what does PPC stand for? Pay-per-click. Again, there's different terminologies as far as CPC, which is cost per click, If you go into AdWords, you'll see the different kinds of terminology. CTR, which is click-through rate, which is essentially how often someone clicks your ad to get to the landing page or the website page that it's linked to. Different things like that. So if you have any questions, again, about certain acronyms, let us know. We'll definitely help you out with that. Another question we have is, will you design landing pages separately or only through your programs? So just to kind of get an idea on that. So basically, we will design landing pages for you through our programs. We don't do one-off landing pages. Let's say if you don't have our Velocity or Dominator service, which is our PPC, and our Ultimate, package, which has everything from PPC to organic SEO and custom content. Those we will do custom landing pages for your business that are custom to you, but not as one-off if you just have a starter website, unfortunately, at this time. So, and I say that just because who knows, maybe down the line we will, but at this time, no. Do you pay before the click? No, you pay when they click on it. So you can have, let's say, $500 budget every month, and it'll only charge you for whenever they click. Or if they happen to call a number that's on the ad itself, not the ad as far as image, but if you have the ad kind of like, here, I'll go back to the image. If you have a phone number here where they can click it and call it, like a call extension, kind of what they have, like an ad extension, where it's a click to call, that will consider the click. If it's just a number that's in the copy itself, that's not associated with any kind of call tracking, like through AdWords, I should say. If you have your own separate call tracking, that's its own separate cost in itself. If it's just your typical 1-800 number or typical direct office number, it's not considered anything at all. So let's see. Let's go ahead and answer another question here. Get back here. We are a chiropractic office that performs a technique that no one else in the area does. Problem is that people don't know the name of the technique to search it. So I'm at a loss for where to start. Technique's gentle, and it doesn't twist to turn the body. Any ideas of what keywords will work best? Perfect answer. And I have an excellent example of one that a lot of people that have no clue what, that maybe a lot of people have never been to a chiropractor, maybe a lot of people just have never heard of it, is, let's just say spinal decompression, okay? Let's say DRX 9000. You talk to anybody that's never been to a chiropractor, you say DRX 9000, they think it's a Terminator model or something. Or you mentioned spinal decompression, it sounds like a medieval torture device of some sort. When in actuality, it's a complete opposite. It's gentle. I mean, it's great. I've had it done myself. It's awesome. And nothing of the sort, So how do you search for something like that? Well, typical terms that you would probably search for if people don't understand a specific technique, which there's a lot of techniques. I mean, you get an optometrist that might be talking about certain eye diseases that maybe people don't even know about. Then you start going into the keywords that are the symptoms that they're going to be experiencing. Maybe they're experiencing, upper shoulder pain or lower back pain. Those are actually some of the keywords that people will be searching for. So when you're looking for keywords to use for your ad campaigns, don't necessarily just think of the specific technical terms as a doctor that you would use, because other doctors will understand, but as a consumer, as someone that maybe has never been a patient of yours, has never even been to an optometrist or a chiropractor or taken their pet to the vet, maybe it's a first-time pet owner, kind of use layman's terms and just really start thinking of the symptoms that they will be experiencing. If I never went to your office and you basically said, okay, what's wrong, without assessing anything with me first off, kind of like if I go to a medical doctor's office and I go in and they ask, okay, so what's the problem? What are you experiencing? I'm congested, I'm getting fevers, those kind of things. Those would be the kind of terms that doctor would want to pull up. So the same thing with chiropractic and any other industry. Start thinking of the different symptoms that people will be experiencing, because those are actually going to be what they are typing in so that they can understand what's wrong with them. Because that's probably going to be the first thing they're going to do, is they're going to be like, oh man, I have this real bad kink in my neck. Or, I mean, even if it's a long-tail term, and by long-tail term I mean terms that aren't just back pain or hurt neck. It's, kink in my neck, or lower back pain, or sharp lower back pain, right side, or whatever it may be, just something that's a little bit longer. Those sometimes actually tend to be a little bit cheaper than just the typical 1 or 2 word keywords. So think of that. Think of ways that you can figure out some of the symptoms and then go from there, and include that in the landing page that you have as well as the ad copies that you have set up. Another question, do you help to set up these types of ads? Is there a cost for your help? Yes, we do. That's actually a perfect question. Again, give us a call, 1-800-iMatrix. Our automated system will ask you what type of industry you're in. It will direct you to the proper sales department. Our internet consultants are extremely knowledgeable and will help you out in setting you up with the best package available that meets your budget and meets your needs. And if for some reason you want to start running PPC ads and you really want to start injecting it to get your ads running, we do offer that as well. I mean, we will help you out in any way that your budget can help out with, and or that your budget can afford, as well as anything that maybe you just want to get started slowly and kind of work your way up. Whatever it may be, we'll definitely help you out. Just give us a call. We do, again, have all of our account managers that are Google certified, as well as iMatrix itself is a Google certified partner, which typically means that we've been recognized as a Google certified company to properly help businesses, and small businesses to medium businesses, with their PPC ads and ad spend. So let us know if you have any questions. What I will also do is, with the recording of the webinar, we usually send it out with a form. If you don't want to give us a call, go ahead and fill out the form once you get that email within a day or so, and that will just direct it, and it'll ask you which industry you're from, and that'll direct it to an internet consultant who will help you out in that aspect. So here's another one, landing page. Should it be specific for the ad or just a page on our site and include search terms like an our services page versus an ad or coupon page? I do recommend having a specific page for each ad. I know it sounds tedious, but if you happen to have, let's say, multiple different ads that are kind of using the same type of keyword, like one of the previous questions, as far as not having a specific technique as opposed to the symptoms, maybe they all kind of have similar symptoms. Maybe in the copy itself, you can have all those symptoms, because maybe there's multiple different types of techniques that you can use for some of the same symptoms. Maybe you can use that same ad landing page for multiple ads. But I wouldn't recommend just having an overall services page, even though it has a lot of the different terms on there, just because it ends up being too convoluted and it ends up being too much to where it won't be relevant enough if you have too much on there. It ends up being kind of like a dictionary of just terms that, oh, these are all the services that we provide, and it's not direct enough and it's not relevant enough to that specific keyword. So again, that's kind of where the time management comes in, where you would have to kind of have your own separate pages created for each of these ads. Now, you can actually have one kind of an overall ad that just talks about, your services in general, and then that you can have go into that specific services page or even a home page. But again, I don't recommend doing that because it's just not relevant enough to that specific term. So one question is, what's a typical time commitment for PPC? 6, 12 months, or can you just try it for a month? I don't recommend doing it for a month. We don't offer monthly contracts, unfortunately. But again, in order to see any kind of results with PPC, once you set it up, just so you understand the time frame of it, you might take, let's say, a week to 2 weeks to just set up the keyword research, to set up everything from the landing pages, the ad copy. All of that could take a couple weeks, depending on how much and how many you want to do. Then once you enter them into the AdWords, let's just say I'll use Google as an example, it could take another week for the, as they say, the ad auction to really take place, to see how much each term is going to cost. So I mean, it could take just a month to just kind of, let's just say, get started. Now that's not 100% typical all the time. It could be a lot sooner. I'm just using a broad range as far as, depending on the area, depending on the competition, how many ads you want, how many landing pages. It does take a little bit of time. So to have a month to really see any kind of results, and then not only that, once the ad is running, you got to give it at least a good month from when it's running to see any kind of results, and then from there, maybe change a couple of the ads because some of them aren't working too well. I would say at least a good 6 months to see what's working. Now, that doesn't mean 6 months from when you start, that's when you start getting calls. You might start getting calls within the first month. It's just a matter of effectively managing the spend is what you want to make sure until you get to that maintenance mode of where, you know what, I only have to check it once a month. I would say a good 6 months to where you're just like checking it once a month. Okay, cool, that's good to go. And again, think of it the same way as anything else. If you're working out, you can't, start off without a six-pack and then a month later like, oh yeah, I got a six-pack and then I can start eating, whatever I want. No, it's going to be a little bit of work in the beginning. And then once you kind of get to a certain point, you're just kind of in maintenance mode where you're just kind of really maintaining everything. And as long as you don't go completely off the deep end, you won't really get off track. But it's the same thing with PPC. I would give it at least a good 6 months to really get to that maintenance mode to where it's getting to the point where you're like, you know what, this just really isn't working for me. Or two, this is the best thing I've ever thought of for my business. Within the first 2 or 3 months, I mean, you're probably still, getting calls. You're still getting forms filled out, people filling out, in your landing page. But could it be cheaper for each ad? Possibly. Could you get more impressions still? Possibly. So again, it's one of those things where I wouldn't hold it to just 1 month. You're not really going to see any kind of beneficial results from that. Good question here. Should the landing pages be hidden? You can. I definitely would. I mean, in order to make sure that it's coming from the ad itself. Now, the way AdWords works is it will trigger a conversion based off if someone clicks the ad to get to your landing page. If someone just goes to the landing pages and fills it out, it might not consider it an actual conversion as far as coming from the ad itself. And it won't obviously be considered costing you any money because they're not clicking on the ad itself. If you want to use the same landing page, let's just say, for something else, feel free to do so. But I would recommend keeping them separate. And if you want to, hide them. That way, it's very siloed and it's only for the ad that you're running itself. So that way, you can really, really maximize if your results are effective or not, and not skew the metrics in any sense. So here's another good question. It's almost the same kind of question. Should we use or avoid hidden pages as our landing pages? Will that impact ad scoring? Not necessarily the ad scoring itself. Again, the ad score is typical with how relevant the page is, how relevant the content is to the ad itself, to the term that you're looking for. So let's say if someone's looking for car accident injury, but when they get to the page, it doesn't even mention anything about car accident injury. Maybe in your head you're thinking, well, it talks about back pain and it talks about, whiplash and those kind of things, and that's great. But if you're looking for things like back pain and whiplash and stuff like that, you want to have an ad that is being searched for those terms, whiplash and back pain. If you're looking for something that's talking that you're searching for car accident injury, you want to at least have somewhere in the content talking about car accident injury. You want to have somewhere in the ad copy itself talking about car accident injury, So just to kind of give you an example, I'll go back to one of these ads. Here, these guys are, San Diego optometrists. As you can see, Google's pretty smart, so I'll let you guys understand that there is flexibility in the terms. So when it comes to like optometrist, the ad landing page itself, which I can't see here obviously because these are just the ads themselves, probably says optometrist throughout. But optometry, optometrist, those kind of things are still very close to where Google's pretty smart and they understand what you're talking about. So San Diego optometrist, San Diego optometry, obviously optometry is in the URL itself. collegegroveoptometry.com is also part of the ad copy. Target optical optometry, San Diego, those kind of things. Optometry, those kind of things. I mean, so as you can see, it's seeing that those keywords are in there. If it was, let's say, San Diego car accident injury, and all you got were these ads, of course that wouldn't happen, but let's just say you got these ads, or you got things for spinal decompression, or acupuncture, massage therapy, but it didn't mention anything about car accident injury, and it didn't really, it's one of those things where you have to have it relevant to some point for the ad score to really be impacted, but the hiding of the pages, those kind of things, the landing pages, doesn't have an impact on that of the ad score itself, unless, keyword, unless it's the point where when you're hiding the page to the point where Google can't find it. If you're doing it to where Google can't search for it and they can't index it and it's blocking it somehow through a robots text file, or you're just blocking it in any sense to where you're really kind of blocking it not only for people to find it, but for Google to find it, it'll definitely impact your ad score. Your ad score will indefinitely be impacted if the link that you're clicking on for your ad goes to a page that doesn't exist. If it goes to a 404 error, if it goes to some, if your domain all of a sudden you forget to renew your domain name and it doesn't work anymore, it will impact it. So keep that in mind, that if for some reason, let's say, you forgot to renew your domain registration or whatever it may be, you can pause your ad. So remember that. These ads don't have to run indefinitely, but you can pause the ad itself, and you can make sure that you're not running any ad, or running any ads and getting clicks and wasting money, and it's not going anywhere. So now keep in mind though, if you already have our service, all of our account managers know this from front to back hand. I mean, they know everything about that. So you don't have to worry about on that aspect. They have you taken care of. But if you're doing it on your own, keep in mind that you might want to pause it if something like that tends to happen. So another great question, are hidden pages on Matrix sites still indexable with Google? Good question. So the way it works is there's a file called a robot text file, and the account managers here at iMatrix, if you have our services with iMatrix, will have it set up to where they can have certain pages that are hidden indexed. They can also have certain pages that aren't hidden not indexed. And so if anyone doesn't know what that means by index, it's like a library. So anytime someone, Google goes through and they go through their algorithm, and they basically go through each website and they scan, and because they're constantly updating their search engine results page, they'll basically kind of look through your website, look through all the pages and the links and everything else. They'll index it in their system, and then they'll basically put it accordingly, and they'll rank it accordingly. Same thing with the AdWords and the PPC campaigns. They'll rank those accordingly. So you might be number 1 one day. You could be number 3, number 4. You could all of a sudden somehow be on the second page. Who knows? Again, and that's another reason why I mentioned it's like eBay. You want to constantly check it to see kind of where you're at. Who knows if you dip in a week, and who knows if you jump in a week. So as far as our hidden pages go on iMatrix, the hidden pages on iMatrix for, let's say, regular content pages, when they're hidden, they are not supposed to be indexed by Google. Reason being is because let's say you have a bunch of specials going on, or you have some old pages that are just hidden on your website, they won't be indexed by Google organically, okay? If you have a landing page, let's say, and you want to hide it, you can force it to be indexed from our website itself. So if you aren't sure on how to do that, give us a call. We'll help step you through the process to help you through that. If you do currently have one of our services and you are getting PPC run through iMatrix itself, that is already automatically set up. That's part of our process. We make sure that that's all set up. And the reason we do that is, like I mentioned before, that way that it's siloed, and sometimes some of your landing pages, so don't get me wrong, it's different depending on each business. Some landing pages might not be hidden because maybe they want to have, they have different ways of setting it up to where they do have it linking to other aspects of different ads. You can combine them. There's a lot of different multiple ways that you can have these landing pages shown. If you do have a siloed landing page to where you just have it separate, and you have it hidden, and you only want to have it to that specific ad, you can hide it, and then you can still have it forcibly indexed. So by default, we don't have them indexed just so that we don't have 30 different pages that we might have hidden from, having a website that's maybe 5 or 6 years old, and just having all this extra content, either duplicated or indexed in the sense that it'll actually hurt you. So there's ways of going around it, and we definitely do that as a normal standard process if you currently have any of our services that do that. So good question here. Okay, can you limit which times of the day and days of the week the ad is displayed? Definitely. You can have it displayed any time of the day, week, all day, all week. I mean, you can have it displayed as much as you need to or as little as you need to, and on a specific schedule if you wanted to have it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Maybe you are closed on Sunday, so there's no point in really having it run that day. If you're an after-hours clinic like a vet, you can have it run, all night, only at night, those kind of things. So yeah, definitely you can have it a schedule on when you want to have it set. And that's actually a good question, because if you're really worried about your budget, that's a great way to really kind of manage the budget and see what works best in that aspect. Okay. So awesome. So a lot of really, really great questions here. I'm really glad that you guys asked those because, again, when it comes to pay-per-click, you could either save a lot of money, you can make a lot of money, or you can waste a lot of money. I mean, it's one of those things where if you aren't really sure what to do, always ask us questions. And again, like I said, we're here to help. It's not always a sales call. But if you are interested and you just don't have time to really manage it, we do offer these services here for you. If you are managing them yourself and you just have questions, again, give us a call. We'll help coach you. We have a lot of different ebooks. We have a lot of different white papers on imatrix.com. There should be a link on imatrix.com that take you to the resources. You'll see a sliding on the homepage, a sliding little slideshow of images. I believe it's the third or fourth image. That'll just say resources. You can click on there. It'll take you to all the different resources that we have, different infographics to ebooks to white papers, helping you out with anything from social to SEO to PPC in general. So definitely give us a call if you have questions, or go there and let us know if there's any way we can help. So again, I want to say thank you for everyone to attend. Again, we'll go ahead and send this recording out to everyone who did attend. If anyone had to leave early or if anyone came in a little bit late, you will get the full version as a recording down the line. So thanks again for attending today's webinar, and we'll see you guys soon.